The honourable member for Calgary-Greenway.
Here. Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Last year at this time, this NDP government unveiled Budget 2016. They called it Alberta Jobs Plan. And it came with $11 billion in debt. The finance minister introduced it with these words, quote, above all, the Alberta Jobs Plans creates thousands of jobs, unquote. Back then, Alberta's unemployment rate was 7.4%. Today, it's 8.3%.
Failure.
So much for job creation. To the finance minister, why did the Alberta Jobs Plan fail to create any job?
Good. The Honourable Minister of Economic Development and Trade.
Well, thank you very much, Mr. Speaker. I'll take this opportunity to inform the honourable member that our jobs plan is working. If we look at since July, over 19,000 full-time jobs have been created. Mr. Speaker, the Conference Board of Canada, the TD Bank, and numerous banks have forecast that Alberta is set to grow at a rate higher than any province across the country, a rate of 2.7% for this year and for next year. And you know why, Mr. Speaker? Because we got 2 pipelines and an infrastructure program through our capital budget that is going to help put thousands of Albertans.
Thank you, Honourable Minister. First supplemental.
Only the NDP would take 10 jobs away and get 2 back. Given that the last year's ironically named Alberta Jobs Plan racked up $11 billion in debt, and the result of all the spending was a further spike in unemployment. Correct. And the budget 2017 racks up another, at minimum, $10.3 billion in debt. And given that more than 200,000 Albertans are seeking work, 24,000 more than the last year at this very time, including devastating unemployment in Calgary and other communities. Minister, what is your specific target for Alberta's unemployment rate a year from now? The real number.
Economic Development and Trade.
Mr. Speaker, first of all, I want to say that our government recognizes the impact of the sustained drop in the world price of oil and the impact it's having on Alberta businesses and Alberta families. That is exactly why we introduced the Alberta Jobs Plan, exactly why we are investing in infrastructure where both opposition parties would cut. And it's not just about cutting schools and roads and bridges, Mr. Speaker. It's about the tens of thousands of Albertans that they would put out of work, making the problem worse. We are making life better for Alberta families, and we're going to continue to do that.
Hear, hear. Second supplemental.
Lots of excuses for this failed minister. Given that the Premier and her minister keep insisting, quote, they have the backs of Albertans, unquote, and given that through this government's inability to curtail spending, Albertans will, by the end of NDP's only term, carry well over $70 billion worth of debt on their backs.
Shame.
Correct. Premier, just how strong the backs of Albertans? Do you think they can carry $100 billion, $150 billion, $200 billion? Is there even a limit?
Sky's the limit.
I want to remind honourable members, no preambles on the supplementary questions. This last time you did 2 of them. Honourable Minister, Deputy Premier.
Thank you very much, Mr. Speaker. We know that Alberta families deserve a government that's got their back, and that's exactly why, Mr. Speaker, we've frozen putting caps to make sure that electricity rates don't continue to hit the roof like they did under that party, Mr. Speaker. That's why we put in a freeze on tuition, because under the former government it kept going higher and higher and higher, Mr. Speaker. We know the opposition wants to jack up fees and make life more expensive for Alberta families. We're standing with them, Mr. Speaker, and we are honouring the contracts that those guys negotiated that now they want us to break, Mr. Speaker. I have to say that their criticism is pretty rich.